now we are moving to our second session for the today, and it will be moderated by Professor Ishika Jaiswal, who are the Faculty of Economics and Indian Institute of Management, Sambalpur, Odisha. Over to ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thanks, Mr. Ismail. Thank you so much. So, at Indian Institute of Management, Sambalpur, Odisha, with a research interest in the areas of labor economics, this session of hypothesis testing for parametric and non-parametric tests. I welcome all the participants in this first 10 days online international research methodology workshop in social sciences 2024, organized by the J&K Economic Association in collaboration with School of Commerce and Management, Lingas Vidyapeeth, Faridabad, and Academ's Publishing House, New Delhi. I also welcome the members of the organizing team and the expert Dr. Sahifa Mazgaonkar, who is an accomplished professional with extensive academic qualifications, including a PhD in accountancy, an MPhil in commerce, and an MBA in finance. She possesses diverse teaching experience in various prestigious institutions. So before moving forward, I would like to give a glimpse of what interesting things we all are going to discuss today. So this session focuses basically on hypothesis testing, which helps to validate the research process through providing a framework, ensuring near predictions, identifying the relationships among variables, improving outcomes, and substantiating the decision-making process of the researcher. So hypothesis testing in statistics generally involves assessing a premise whether a population parameter holds true or not, okay, over the research process. So the parametric tests like t-test and ANOVA, they assume that the underlying statistical distributions where the normality assumptions are supposed to be met. However, all the non-parametric tests, for example, the Mann-Whitney U-test and the Preskel-Wallace test, do not assume a specific distribution and are deployed where all the normality assumptions cannot be met. So all these things will be discussed in today's session through Jamovi Software, which is actually an open source statistical software without programming language and is quite easy to use for even the early researchers. So now before passing to Dr. Sahifa Mazgaonkar, I would like all the participants to please keep your mics mute during the sessions and please put your questions in the chat box, which will be taken at the end of the session accordingly. Over to you, Dr. Sahifa. Thank you. You're not audible, Dr. Sahifa. Dr. Sahifa, could you please connect directly to your laptop speaker rather than using your headphones? No, you are still not audible. No, not audible, Dr. Sahifa. No. Okay, you can do one thing, you just exit and try to reconnect.
Dr. Firdaus, please unmute yourself. I think you are speaking something.
Okay, yes, I was speaking. I was asking that if she is facing this trouble, she can use the, audio of her phone, and we can use the screen of her laptop. This is one for her. Just join from her phone also. The laptop. It is already viewed there. He is in meeting now. Let me check. Yes, he is there.
Yeah, she's there, but she's she's on mute and also has not put her camera on.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, Dr. Sahifa, you are
Just,
clearly audible, but now you are not
just
visible.
give me, actually, just give me a minute. I have connected through my laptop. I'll be joining. Just give me a minute.
Sure, take your time.
Meanwhile, I am, going to share, some guidelines for the participant. If you are having any issue, kindly, reach to host organizer rather than openly, writing things to the speakers. So it gives, really bad impression. And we have arranged these, resource person as moderators, and it takes a lot of effort for us to, convey them, and they have taken their precious time. They are all professors at different reputed institutions across the world. So therefore, it is kind request if you are having any issues, you can share with us. And I also encourage, just like now before the session, some participants have shown their interest and asking directly questions. It gives real sense that yes, we are learning and we are interested. So you keep your questions ready. It hardly matters whether the resource person is able to answer or not, but it gives you the confidence and boost. You are using this platform, so it is your opportunity to interact and share your insight, share your research problem. That will definitely help you if you will speak here.
Am I audible now?
Yes, Dr. Sahifa, you're audible.
I'm extremely sorry. Apologies for this technical issue from my side.
No issue, no. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Okay. So, yeah, let's start with the session without much delay. Already 10 minutes got wasted because of this technical issue. Now, topic for today is data analysis using Jamovi software. Now, see, uh, mostly among researchers, one is software that is very famous, very popular is SPSS software. But the problem with SPSS software, no doubt it's very good software. But the problem with this software is it is a paid software. So now today we are going to use Jamovi software. Yeah. Just a minute. Just a minute, I'll change it now.
ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ
Dr. Sahifa, are you there?
I was thinking what is happening to this.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, Dr. Sahifa.
Okay, I'm extremely sorry. I'm extremely sorry. Okay, so now Yes. So I was talking about this Jamovi software. I'm sure sir has already shared the link to download this software. But anyways, I can show the how do we download this. I'll share my screen before that.
Dr. Sahifa, we all got the link to download the software, and I believe the participants have already downloaded it. So it would be
Yes,
better if you start from the
I'll directly
interface.
start.
Yeah, you better start from the user interface because we already are running short of time.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Is my screen visible to you all?
Yes, yes.
I'm sharing my screen. Okay. So, okay, this is a software. When you start, this is a file. Now, in this software, see, today we're going to work in the tab data and data analysis. Okay. So, how first I would like to talk about how do we, okay. Yeah. How do we feed the data in Jamovi software? It is little different from SPSS, those who have worked in SPSS. I'll show you that also. Okay. Now, for example, usually we all collect data in Excel sheet. Okay. Now, suppose this is the Excel sheet which I have in front of me. And in Excel sheet, I have data. I have only two columns here. One column is group and one column is stress score. Now, how do we feed this data in Jamovi software for the purpose of analysis? What do we do is we will copy this data. Now, we don't need to copy labels. The first row, you can see group and stress score. These two are labels, headings. So we don't need to copy labels. You will simply copy your data. Okay. I'll simply copy this data. Then we'll go to software. Okay. I'll paste it over here. Now my data is pasted in a file, in a blank file of Jamovi software.
Dr. Sahifa, you are on mute. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah. There was some internet problem over here. Okay. Am I audible and my screen is visible to you all,
Yes,
right?
yes, you are
Okay.
clearly audible and
Okay. Yeah. I'm extremely sorry. Now what we can do is go to data. Then we'll click on setup tab. Once we click on setup tab, this window will appear wherein in data variable, you have to write the name.
Ma'am, you're not audible.
is probably facing some network issue.
Yes, I think she is facing, the network issue. There is, I think, rain going in Mumbai. So we have to wait. We can do nothing. So participants, we are sorry. Kindly be patient.
Okay.
And I think there is some network issue with you.
Yeah, there's some network problem. Yeah, it's getting disconnected again and again.
The Zoom is getting disconnected. You are using Zoom app or you are using it directly through Chrome?
Directly through link, actually, I have connected.
You must
Is
have,
my screen visible now?
Yes, yes.
And I am audible. Okay, okay. So I hope it should not get disconnected again now. There's some problem happening. I'm getting some message from Zoom. Okay. So in data variable, we do is we write the name of the variable. Now, suppose the name of the variable is group. As
So do you have this Zoom app in your system?
Dr.
You
Sahifa,
are
you are on mute.
yeah, I have already installed it. But
Yeah.
just a minute, let me just find out what exactly happening, because it's again and again getting disconnected.
So if
Is
you
it
are
clear
having,
now?
it is as of now clear. But I think that
Yeah, but
that blue ring
the
is
moment
that
I
is
start working, it gets disconnected.
Are you now
I don't know
connected
what
through
is
app or
happening.
through the link?
Through link which I have.
no. I am asking you if you are having account already on Zoom app. You open that and put that link. Then app will make a station in your laptop and it will be more convenient for you, because maybe your Chrome is doing problem and he while running two softwares at it, simultaneously you are running two softwares. One is Zoom and one is the Jamovi. So if you are not having power situation at your laptop, sometimes because of internet problem it will get loaded and all.
Don't know what's happening.
So so I suggest if you take 1 or 2 minutes more, we can wait.
Huh?
Just log in through your computer, that app. So
Just give me a
then
minute.
yeah,
Yeah,
things will
I'll
then run
just
smoothly.
I'll share my screen now. I'll see if it happens again. Just give me 5 minutes. I'll call my technician, the one who looks into this, and I'll just get it resolved. I'll
Yes,
share my screen now for now.
you try. Yeah.
If it
Right.
if it happens again, I need to call him up to see exactly what is happening. Okay, I hope now my screen is there. Okay, just hope it should not get disconnected again. Okay, so as you can see here,
Yeah.
just a
I
minute. I'll
suggest
just send a
you.
message
Yeah.
to him
Dr.
so
Sahifa,
that
do one thing, you just put off your video and continue only with your audio. I
I'll
believe
put off
that
my
will,
video.
yeah, just put
Okay,
off your video and continue with your audio. I believe that would help with the network bands you are currently in.
possible. Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, you can,
Let's see now if it is
yes, it is clear now. Please go ahead.
that's clear.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, okay. Let's see now if it works. Okay. Now, first is group. So I have entered the name of the variable. Then you can give your brief description. The measure type, basically there are three measure types mentioned over here. ID is basically a kind of serial number or a roll number.
Yes. I think you are having the internet problem only.
Yeah, but actually,
Dr.
I don't
Sahifa,
know.
are you still connected through the link or you have connected via
That
the
button, I clicked on the button, the mail that I received, I
Yes.
clicked on that button and directly
And
I
thereafter
entered
you
through that.
you would have definitely get a dialog box open where it is mentioned that open Zoom meetings? Is it like that?
Let me see.
Ma'am, if you have the app installed, it will definitely open you a dialog box which will say open Zoom meetings.
Yeah,
Yes.
I clicked on that, no?
Yeah, actually, what you have to do if your Zoom is installed in your ear. I have added already your email. So on your Zoom app itself, there will be the notification that you are having a meeting. You have to just open that. This is one possibility. We are not sure whether it will solve the problem, but this is one of the
But when
biggest
I'm able to
possibility.
log in, enter through this, and I'm able to present my screen, that means I'm getting an entry in the meeting.
Yes, you are getting. It is easy. You are getting, but in your background, maybe your Chrome is not updating. It is stopping you because you are running two softwares, in a window. Like Zoom, also you are opening through the window, and pressure is going on to this Google Chrome, and this Jamovi software you are also opening it. So they are making pressure on your windows.
I'll close the other apps in.
But right now, where we are chatting each other, you are absolutely
It's not getting
fine.
disconnected. Yeah,
Yes.
when we are talking, we are chatting, it's not getting disconnected. The moment I
Yes.
start operating,
Yes, you try
it's
while chatting, you try to operate. Let us see, because your computer may be
okay. So now, okay. So here in data variable, we enter the name of the variable, that's group. Then in measure type, nominal, ordinal, and continuous, I presume that participants have understanding of this nominal scale, ordinal scale, and continuous scale. So
I
this my
suggest
data
one
is.
thing. I suggest one thing, please. Thank
Yeah.
Sorry for inconvenience.
Yes.
I suggest you just try to repeat this all, because of the disturbance, maybe participants lose their interest.
I'll repeat.
You
I'll
show
repeat
how
everything.
you have taken the data and pasted it here.
Okay, I'll
and
repeat.
So they will follow up
Yeah.
then. Yeah.
I will
Thank
just,
you.
yeah. Thank you, sir. I won't open my Excel
Ma'am,
sheet because I'm
ma'am,
little
sorry to
scared that.
hello.
Yes,
Hello,
ma'am,
ma'am,
Professor
sorry to
Ishika.
interrupt.
You're not audible.
Am I not audible? Hello?
Yeah, now
You're
audible,
audible.
yes.
Yeah, ma'am, please, if you could start from the beginning, how to download the software, because it was so disturbing, we couldn't understand.
Okay, yes, Fatima ma'am, yes. Okay, what I can
Thank you.
do, Firdaus sir has already shared the link to download software in WhatsApp group. He has also shared the PPT, my PPT, in which I have mentioned step by step how do we download this software. Now, this Jamovi software is a free software, free to download. You can download, you just type Jamovi in your Google search box and you get the Jamovi link, right? And then you just download it, go to download of your computer, laptop, and just click on install. It will get installed automatically in your computer. So that's it about the installation of Jamovi software. I'm avoiding to do all that because of some technical issue. I'm getting out of Zoom meeting every now and then. So I'm avoiding to go back to Google search engine again. But that is how you can install. Still, if you have difficulty, you can refer the PPT slides which are shared in the WhatsApp group already. Next is when you open the software, Jamovi software, you get a blank file. When you get a blank file, see this type of blank file you will get, right? What you have to do, simply go to your Excel sheet. Go to your Excel sheet, copy your data, simply come here and paste your data. Once you copy and paste your data will appear in your Jamovi file. Am I audible now and my screen is visible to all of you?
Yes, Professor Sahifa.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So now, then what we need to do is simply we will name these variables. Now, first column is all about, if you can see, is university students, A-level students, general population. So basically, we can understand from the data given in the column 1 that it is a nominal type of variable, right? So you can name the data
variable as a group, whatever name you want, you can give. You can give the name as gender if you have male and female in the column. Then you go to measure type. In measure type, you have 3 types of measure: nominal, ordinal, and continuous. Okay. So nominal, I presume that you know nominal when it is male and female, where you cannot give ranking, or when you cannot give order to your variable. It is just a categorical variable. Next is ordinal variable. For example, we quite often ask income in the range of 0 to 25,000, 25 to 50, 50 to 75, 75 to 1 lakh. It is an order that we are giving to these categories. Then it becomes ordinal. And then the next is continuous or a continuous. Your ratio and interval, both the scale, you can select continuous, right? As of now, my variable is nominal, so I will select nominal. Then this is done. Then the next, you can see under levels, you get to see the levels. My levels here are university students. Then you have A-level students. You have general population. Then the next, you have next column. Now, suppose 23, 24, 25, I can name this as stress level. I can name this as stress level. Now we understand from the data that stress level I have collected on a ratio scale. So I'll click on measure type and I'll click on continuous. Then that's it. And this is my variable on the ratio scale. Similarly, if you have a variable, now, this is all about data feeding. If you want to delete any data, simply click. It's more like Excel only. Click on the column, select delete column, and that variable gets deleted, right? So this is all about data feeding. Now, next we will move on to test. Okay? Since we are already short of time, I'll quickly start with my PPT. Okay. Now, today we are going to discuss about some parametric and some non-parametric tests. Now, parametric tests need certain assumptions to be fulfilled. When these assumptions are not fulfilled, we switch to counterpart of non-parametric test. Right now, what are these assumptions? These assumptions, as you can see on the screen, independence of observation, homogeneity of variance, normality of data, and no outlier. If these now depends upon the test, certain tests require more assumptions to be made, certain tests require less assumptions to be made, differ from test to test. That we will discuss as and when we take up the test for understanding in Jamovi software. Okay, so now we will quickly start with the first test, that is one sample t test. Now, what is one sample t test? It compares the mean of single sample to a known value or a population mean. For example, if we want to understand what is the stress level of university of students appearing for university exam, right? And we know the average stress score. We know the stress of the population, average stress score. Or for example, we want to measure the rainfall. We know that average rainfall of last 10 years. What we can do is we will collect the rainfall samples of this year, and the average of rainfall of this year we will compare with the population average. That is the average rainfall of last 10 years. Now, this is a parametric test. The moment I say it is a parametric test, it requires certain assumptions to be made. How do we write the hypothesis? The hypothesis will be the sample mean is equal to the known population mean. Alternate hypothesis, sample mean is not equal to the known population mean. Certain assumptions that the data should be normally distributed. Now, one thing we need to understand that in one sample t test, we have only one variable and which need to be on continuous scale. I repeat, as you all know, nominal, ordinal, and continuous. Now, these scales play a very important role in understanding of which test to be applied. If you have only one variable and that is on ratio scale, we apply one sample t test. Now, quickly, I will start with one sample t test. Now, how do you open your file in Jamovi software? So click here, go to open, and then you can browse here. When you browse here, now I have my file on desktop. You can see here one sample t-test Jamovi. I already have my data file with me. So I'll open my data file. I'll close the earlier file. Okay. Open. It's one sample t-test. Okay. You can see your IQ level of the students is given. That is only one variable. From next to IQ level, you can see a small sign. From this, you can make out that this is a ratio scale. From this sign, you can make out that this is a ratio scale. Now, we need to test whether the IQ level, the average IQ level of the students is equal to 100. What is this 100? Suppose the 100 is the population average, which is already known to us. What we are doing, we are comparing the average IQ of samples. These are the samples which we have collected, and we are comparing it with the universe population average. Now, how do we test this? So what do we do? Go to data analysis tab. Once you click the data analysis tab, you click on t-test. In t-test, you can see one sample t-test. We need to click on one sample t-test. Once we click on one sample t-test, this window will appear. I hope my screen you all can see. There is no problem now.
Yes.
There's no problem.
Yes,
okay, thank you very much. Clear, no? Thank you very much. Now, this window will open. What we need to do, simply select your one variable and drag it to dependent variable box. Once you drag it to dependent variable box, now below this, you can see statistics given. Now, here the important is first assumption check. We need to check for the assumption. Now, normality, data should be normally distributed. If data is not normally distributed, we cannot apply t-test as it is a parametric test. So let's check the normality of the data. Now, once I click on the normality, the right-hand side, my right-hand side, you can see one sample t-test result also appearing simultaneously. Now, you can see if I untick the normality box, result will disappear. The moment I untick student t-test, the result box will disappear. Now, I check on normality test. The moment I check on normality test, it is giving me the normality test of Shapiro-Wilk test. Now, here what you need to see, you need to look for p-value. P-value is 0.118. Now, you all should remember that in case of normality, if p-value is greater than 0.05, I repeat, in case of normality, if p-value is greater than 0.05, we say that the data is normally distributed, right? If the p-value is less than 0.05, then data is not normally distributed. And if the data is not normally distributed, we have to go for the alternate non-parametric test. So far it is clear. But one more thing we need to check. We also need to check, is there any outlier in the study? See, number of times you might have those who have completed their PhD or those who are writing research paper. This assumption is quite often we need to check for outlier. Is there any outlier in your data? For that, what we need to do, under analysis tab, extreme left side, you all can see exploration tab. We need to click on exploration tab. Under that, you get to see descriptive scatter plot, right? So just click on descriptive. Once we click on descriptive, IQ level, you can drag in your variable box. Now, what we have to do, below that, you can see statistics. Click on statistics and untick whatever is not required. Now we don't need to know mean, median, missing, standard deviation, minimum, maximum. So I'll simply untick all that. What I want to know, see here also you can check for the normality. I click on normality, it's giving me the result of normality test, Shapiro-Wilk p-value. See, Shapiro-Wilk W is the test value and Shapiro-Wilk p is the p-value, n is the number of sample size. Clear? Now what else? Next, you can click on plot. When you can click on plot, you can see box plot, right? click on box plot, and your box plot will appear. See, you can see one number on 30 is an outlier, which is outside your box plot. So this is a way you can check for the outlier in your data. Now, what we have to do simply, we can delete, we will delete this number 30 and we will proceed for data analysis. So I hope box plot, how to check for outlier is clear to you all, and how to check for normality in a data is clear to you all. Now we will proceed for data analysis, t-test. So I'll go to independent one sample t-test. Now, due to short of time, I'm not going to delete that one outlier. But yes, participants, you remember that you have to delete that outlier. I'll proceed with the data analysis. Now, we have IQ level, one sample t-test, you drag it into dependent variable. Once you drag it into dependent variable, under test, you select, click on students test, that is students t-test. Once you click on students t-test, you get to see your result of one sample t-test, right? You can see your p-value is less than 0.001. That means we reject null hypothesis. Null hypothesis. Okay, one thing I forgot, which I need to tell. Here you can see under hypothesis, test value we need to mention. Under hypothesis, we need to mention the test value with which we are comparing the result of one sample, average value of samples, right? So our test value is 100. So you can see the p-value is less than 0.001. Your degree of freedom is 29 as your sample size is 30 minus 1, 29. 4.83 is your test statistics, test value. So this is the result of your one sample t-test. Now the interesting part of Jamovi software is this software will give you table in APA format. You must have heard of APA style of writing references, right? So there is an APA style of preparing tables, diagrams, and charts as well. So this, you can see there are no vertical lines. You'll find only horizontal lines in the table. That is the APA style of table wherein you get the heading towards the left-hand side. What you simply need to do, click on the table and left click, copy, and just go to your Word file and you paste it. It will get pasted as it is, right? You want me to show you? I can show you also here. Here we have a Word file open. I'll just open this. So this left click. Okay, I need to copy that again. Just I'm little scared that I should not get disconnected from meeting again. Okay, I'll go back to Jamovi software. Okay. Here, I'll click on table, copy, I'll go to Word and paste. The as it is table will appear. You don't need to do little formatting you may have to do, but otherwise no major changes you have to do as this table is already in APA style. Clear? So now, next, one thing I wanted to tell you here, you can see below under hypothesis, I clicked on first. That is, there is no significance difference between the average stress score and the population average, that is 100. But you must have heard of one tail test, left tail test, right tail test, right? So Jamovi software is giving you option for checking your one tailed test and right tail test and left tail test. Now this test, right tail test says that the sample score is greater than average score, whereas left tail says that the sample score is less than the test value, less than the population average value. So if you want to test, if you have a one-tailed test in your hypothesis, a one-tailed hypothesis, that also you can check here in Jamovi software. So I hope one sample t-test is clear. But what if your data is not normally distributed? Then what do we do? You don't have to do anything. Simply untick student t-test and click on Wilcoxon, one sample Wilcoxon rank test. So that is another beauty of Jamovi software, that Jamovi will only tell you that if this, not this test, then what you have to, which test you can apply. So here only it's giving you option of Wilcoxon, one sample Wilcoxon rank test, and here is your table value. Now, you also, you can see a descriptive statistics, descriptive and descriptive plot. You need to click on descriptive also, because you need descriptive also to write your result of the test. What do you get in descriptive? You get in descriptive sample size, mean, median, standard deviation, and standard error. Now, how do we write the result? So you can see here the result that we can write. I'll show you result here. Okay. A one sample t-test was conducted to determine, one sample t-test was conducted to determine the mean IQ score of students in the sample, whether it differ from the national average or from the population average of 100. Basically, you should remember in this that we have to write the sample mean was, you need to write your mean, right? 111. That is, you can see sample mean is 111. So sample mean 111, standard deviation of the sample, T value in bracket 29 is your degree of freedom, is equal, as I spoke about APA style of referencing, APA style of table, there is an APA style of writing result of the test in your research study, right? So, and then one sample Wilcoxon signed rank test, you can write one sample Wilcoxon signed rank test was conducted to assess whether the median, understand Wilcoxon rank test use median as average, whereas t-test use mean as average, median IQ level in a sample of students. Here we will write median, 111, median is also triple, differ significantly from hypothesized population median of 100, and result indicate that median IQ was significantly different than 100, right? So that's all about the one sample t-test. Shall we move on to the next test?
I am having,
Actually,
little,
I wanted to.
yeah, I am asking
Yes.
one question. Is it,
Yes,
giving us
please.
this normal distribution curve?
Yes, it is giving you normal distribution curve also, because suppose this is your stress level, and in analysis, when you go to exploration, when you go to descriptive, in
Yes.
plot, you get the histogram.
No, I wanted
Okay.
to only, normal distributive curve where it shows, left tail and right tail. It is showing like this, or
Just a minute.
yeah, it is showing on this normal, this histogram.
Yeah, it's giving you histogram, which is quite normally distributed. So through histogram, we can make out, and this is actually, there is advanced Jamovi also with advanced features also available in Google. I have not downloaded that. So there is one more free software available, which is with advanced feature, wherein you get more options. Like here you have only Shapiro-Wilk test of normality. In that way, you will get Kolmogorov-Smirnov test of normality as well.
That is also free.
Yeah, that is, yes. But then your your laptop or your machine should be compatible with with the features of that software. So it should not happen. Say, I was a little scared that my session should not get interrupted, and so that's why I just downloaded the basic software of Jamovi.
Okay, you can proceed now. to try to
Okay,
cover
okay.
as much tests
I
as so
have to,
that
yes,
participants
I
can.
have to cover as many tests as possible, and we are already running short of time. Okay, so next test I would like to take is two sample t-test. Okay. Now, when you have a two sample, let me close this. Okay. Now, in two sample t-test, what we have one dependent variable, one independent variable. Your dependent variable should be measured on ratio scale. If I come here in setup, you can see here it is continuous scale. And the independent variable will be on categorical scale. So dependent variable is on ratio scale, independent variable is on categorical scale. And in your independent variable, we have only two groups. Understand, if we have more than two groups, you can see under gender, we have male and female. If we have more than two groups, we go for one-way ANOVA. Then no more t-test is applicable. So as of now, we have only two groups. So what we need to do, we will go to, first we need to check for the assumption of normality. What is the assumption over here? Your dependent variable is per day wage rate. What are we trying to test? We want to see, is there any significant difference between the per day wage rate of male and female workers? Is there any? So my null hypothesis will be there is no significant difference between per day wage rate of male and female workers. Alternate will be there is a significant difference between per day wage rate of male and female workers. First, we will check for, sorry, we will go to exploration and we will check for normality. Now, when we check for normality, you can see there are two variables. Your per day wage rate is dependent variable and your gender is independent variable that you will select under split by column box, right? Here it is giving you descriptive, but what we are interested in normality. So we will go to, again, statistics, click on Shapiro-Wilk test. I'll just untick whatever is not required, so it will give you better clarity in results section. Okay. Okay. As you can see, p-value. Now, here understand, it's not that the per day wage rate as a whole should be normally distributed, but it is per day wage rate of male should be normally distributed, as well as per day wage rate of female should be normally distributed. Clear? So group wise, we want to obtain normal distribution. You can see the p-value for male, it is 0.677. It is greater than 0.05. Yes, data is normally distributed. You can see the p-value for female is 0.847. Again, it is greater than 0.05. So yes, here again we have data which is normally distributed. Clear? So here we have normal distribution. I'll not repeat the box plot. You all know how to check for the outlier in box plot. Here again there are two outliers. What you need to do in row number 6 and row number 4, there are two outliers for male. You need to delete these two outliers from your data and then you proceed for data analysis. Now, as of now, I will proceed for t-test. So go to analysis tab, go to t-test, click on independent sample t-test. Now, once you click on independent sample t-test, select per day wage rate in dependent variable and gender. See, from sign also you can make out it is nominal variable. Drag it into grouping variable. Okay. Now click on students test, that is students t-test. Click on descriptive. Under hypothesis, you can see group 1 is not equal to group 2. That is your two-tailed test. That is there is no significance difference between the per day wage rate of male and female workers. That's your null. That's your hypothesis basically. There is a difference. There is a no difference. So it is a two-tailed test. Now you can see here. Okay, before that, here you can see assumption check. Now understand, you must be thinking when there is a normality check over here also, why don't we check here? So see, if I click on this, what happens? It's giving me per day wage rate ka normality, overall normality it is giving me. It's not giving me normality group wise. So if you want to know normality group wise, you need to do through exploration tab. I hope it is clear now. Then homogeneity of variance is another assumption. That is the variance of male, wage rate of male and the variance of wage rate of female should be homogeneous. Homogeneity of variance. You can see here we check for the Levin's test. The way we have Shapiro-Wilk test for normality, we have Levin's test for homogeneity of variance. Again here same, if your p-value is greater than 0.05, your test homogeneity assumption is met. We are ready to go for t-test. Clear?
Sorry for
Yes, sir?
inconvenience. Yes, you can plug your
Yes.
charger to the laptop so that it cannot get switched off. It is, I think, very battery is low.
Actually, I'm so engrossed in my lecture.
No issue. You just plug. I thought it will get again disturbed.
Yeah, it started. Thank you very much. Okay, actually, it's already post 4:35, and I'm still on second test. So, shall I continue with my session now, or
Yes.
We can continue till 5 and then we can take up the questions.
Okay. I hope participants will not have any problem, as we said it's still 4:30 and I'm dragging my session till 5 o'clock.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
We have already started late.
Yeah. Okay. So now, students t-test per day wage rate. I was talking about homogeneity of variance and normality. So both the assumptions are met here. In both normality, in homogeneity of variance, that is Levin's test, your p-value is greater than 0.05. It means even this assumption is met. We can go for t-test. You can see your t-test result also, independent sample t-test result. Test statistics is 2.47, degree of freedom 18, and p-value is 0.024. P-value is, okay, how do we understand whether the null hypothesis is to be rejected or not? When in case of test p-value, right? So if your p-value is less than 0.05, we reject null hypothesis. I repeat, if p-value of test is less than 0.05, we reject null hypothesis. And what is your null hypothesis? Null hypothesis always talk about no difference or no relation. In this case, our null hypothesis was there is no difference between per day wage rate of male and female workers. We are rejecting this null hypothesis. That means we are stating that yes, there is a difference between per day wage rate of male and female workers. On what basis we are rejecting this null hypothesis? Your p-value is less than 0.05. In social science, we take 5% of significance level, alpha level value 0.05. Okay, here also you have one-tailed test. If you want to say that your group 1, right? Now here in case you can see here the result of independent sample t-test box table below note, the mean of male is greater than the mean of female. That is, the per day wage rate of male employees is higher than the per day wage rate of female employees. That is your one-tailed test. So even you can check for your one-tailed test also. Here again, your p-value is less than 0.05. You reject null hypothesis, right? And you can check for alternate also. The per day wage rate of male employees is less than per day wage rate of female employees. Always remember that whenever p-value of the test is less than 0.05, we reject null hypothesis and we accept alternate hypothesis. So that's all about the independent sample t-test. But what if your data homogeneity of variance assumption is not met? You can see Levin's test value is 0.821. So it is 0.821 means it is greater than 0.05. Homogeneity of variance assumption is met. We can go for t-test. But if it is not met, you have another test, Welch test. That also you can apply. But mostly what we do is we go for data transformation. Acha, what if data is not normally distributed? What if your data is not normally distributed? That means if your data is not normally distributed, you simply untick students t-test and go for Mann-Whitney U-test. So in this one window only, you will get all sort of tests. Whatever you want, you can simply tick on that and you get the result on a right-hand side. Right? So you get the result of Mann-Whitney U-test. Just do go on this heading, independent sample t-test. This is your Mann-Whitney U-test. Inside the table, you can find out per day wage rate. Mann-Whitney U-test 0.992. Your p-value is greater than 0.05. So here we reject null hypothesis because it is one sample. You can go for two-tailed test also, stating no difference between per day wage rate of male and female workers. Mann-Whitney U-test is giving you p-value of 0.019. So this is all about independent sample t-test. Now what if we have more than two groups, right? When we have more than two groups, we don't use independent sample t-test. Then we go for one-way ANOVA. Now I'll just open my file for one-way ANOVA here. Okay, here is my file for one-way ANOVA. Okay. Now, I have one variable. Okay, in one-way ANOVA, again, we have two variables, like t-test only. But under dependent variable, you will have more than two groups. You can see under level, we have group counting. I'll show you here under setup only. You'll understand. You can see counting, rhyming, adjective. We have more than two groups under independent variable, which is measured on categorical level or nominal level. Then recall, it can be a recall test scores or it can be a recall time. But important to note here is it is measured on continuous scale. So your dependent variable is on continuous scale. Your independent variable is on nominal or categorical scale. What we are trying to understand, is there any significance difference in recall time, or we can say recall score, between these different groups, counting, rhyming, adjective, So is there any significance difference between these two groups, more than two groups? Are there any significance difference in their mean score? So how do we go for this? Now T is done, one sample, two sample T test. Now here you have ANOVA. So what we do is we click on ANOVA and you click on one-way ANOVA. Now let me show you here only. What if normality assumption is not met? We cannot use a one-way ANOVA. In that case, we have to go for, you can see here non-parametric given, under which one-way ANOVA it is mentioned, but under that Kruskal-Wallis test is given. This Kruskal-Wallis is non-parametric alternative to one-way ANOVA. So if your data is not normally distributed, we will not use one-way ANOVA. Rather, we will go for Kruskal-Wallis test. As of now, I will show you one-way ANOVA. So in one-way ANOVA, you just, first let us check the normality. Again, you need to see the normality whether dependent variable, recall time or recall score is normally distributed across different levels of independent variable, right? This I've already shown you in t-test. So quickly, I'll just show you the p-values over here. Go to test normality, check on Shapiro-Wilk test and Then here you get to see all the p-values. Shapiro with p-values, counting, rhyming, adjective, intentional. All the p-values are greater than 0.045, but there is one p-value of adjective which is less than 0.05, right? So in one case, data is not normally distributed. I repeat, your dependent variable of recall test score is normally distributed across different categories, across different level of independent variable? No. In case of counting, rhyming, imagery and intentional, yes, it is normally distributed because p-value is greater than 0.05. But in case of adjective, it is not greater than 0.05. It is less than 0.05. So it is not normally distributed. So if the dependent variable is not normally distributed, even in one of the group, we cannot apply ANOVA. Data should be dependent variable has to be normally distributed across all the group. I hope that is clear. But as of now, I want to show you how to check for ANOVA test here. Let us assume that the data is normally distributed and we will proceed for one-way ANOVA test. Okay, you need to check for outlier every time through box plot. That I'm not showing you in every test. But now, go to analysis, go to ANOVA and click on one-way ANOVA. Now in one-way ANOVA, you just drag the dependent variable in dependent variable box and the independent variable in grouping variable box. Now, assumptions. You have three assumptions here: homogeneity of variance. Levin's test p-value has to be greater than 0.05. Then we can say that homogeneity of variance assumption is met. Yes, it is met over here, 0.2 greater than 0.05. If you check normality over here, it will give you overall normality. It won't give you box group-wise normality, right? Again, QQ plot also helps you to understand if data is normally distributed. Is there any outlier or not? Okay. Now, let's go for the test. You can see one way. Okay. You can see under variance, I have don't assume equal variances. And below that, you have assume equal variances, right? So if homogeneity assumption, see this homogeneity, first box homogeneity test under assumption check. If this assumption is met, you can go for F test. You can go for F test. Clear? I repeat. If normality is not met, normality assumption is not met, we cannot go for ANOVA. Then we have to switch to alternate non-parametric test of Kruskal-Wallis. But if normality assumption is met, but homogeneity of variance assumption is not met, what in that case, what can we do in that case? In that case, if homogeneity of variance assumption is met, we can check for Fisher's test, F test. This is called F test, right? Assume equal variances. But what if homogeneity, Levin's test P score is less than 0.05? Then this assumption is not met. You simply check on don't assume equal variances. Still, you will get the test score. Clear? So this is all about, okay. Here you need to, you need to check on descriptive table. Okay. You will get all descriptives also. Mean, standard deviation. In case of parametric test, you will get mean and standard deviation as descriptive statistics. In case of non-parametric test, you will get median as a descriptive statistics. Okay. So this is about the one-way ANOVA. But what if data is not normally distributed? Then what we do? Simply go to analysis, ANOVA, one-way ANOVA, and Kruskal-Wallis test, right? In Kruskal-Wallis test, same. When we are using Kruskal-Wallis, when normality assumption is not met. So just drag your recall dependent variable in dependent variable box and independent variable in grouping variable box. Okay. You can see the Kruskal-Wallis test, non-parametric, right? Okay. Now, one thing I wanted to tell you, again here, you see the chi-square is a test value in case of Kruskal-Wallis also. P-value is less than 0.001. Now, one thing which I want to tell you all is when we take t-test, there are only two groups in t-test. Say, for example, male and female. There is a difference between male and female wage rate, or there is no difference between male and female wage rate. But that is not the case with one-way ANOVA. You have more than two groups, right? As in this case, if I go to data in level under setup, you can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. There are 5 groups. So even if there is no difference between two groups, null hypothesis, there is a difference between two groups. Even if there is a difference between any two group, ANOVA and Kruskal-Wallis will reject your null hypothesis. ANOVA and Kruskal-Wallis will simply tell you whether there is a difference or there is a no difference. I repeat, ANOVA and Kruskal-Wallis will simply tell you whether there is a difference or there is no difference, right? Suppose there is a difference. There is a difference between groups, but between which two groups? Is there difference between counting and rhyming? Is there difference between rhyming and adjective? Is there any difference between adjective and counting? Exactly where the difference lies. For that, we have one additional test called post hoc analysis. We have one additional test called post hoc analysis. Now, how do we check for post hoc analysis? Go to ANOVA, analysis, check on ANOVA, one-way ANOVA, same. Here, dependent variable and independent variable I have dragged into respective box. You can see here below post hoc test. Just check on post hoc test, right? Now, if there is a difference, when do you go for post hoc? If there is no difference, then no need to check. But if there is a difference between the group, between which two group there is a difference, that we need to know. And for that, we have post hoc test, under which you can see James-Howell test and Tukey's test. Now, you must have heard this Tukey's test quite often, but understand when your homogeneity of variance assumption is not met, when you have unequal variances in group, you go for James-Howell test. But when you have equal variances, that is homogeneity of assumption, homogeneity of variance ka assumption is met, then we go for Tukey's test. Clear? And then this will give you detail analysis, detail p-value, counting and rhyming ka p-value. You can see 0.980. There is no difference. Then you can see rhyming and counting. I'll show you adjective and counting and adjective. You can see counting and adjective p-value. I'm just focusing on p-value as of now, not mean difference. So counting and adjective ka p-value, you can see it is 0.002. Yes, there is a difference between these two groups, right? So participants, whenever you write the result for one-way ANOVA, it's not simply there is a difference. You need to mention if there is a difference lies in exactly which two groups. And for that, you have post hoc analysis. Similar analysis you have in Kruskal-Wallis also when your data is not normally distributed. I'll show you under Kruskal-Wallis also.
Dr. Sahifa,
DCF pairwise
for
comparison.
interrupting you. Dr. Sahifa,
Yes, ma'am.
we are left. We are left with 5 more minutes.
Okay, just I'll wind up over here. Actually, I'm extremely sorry. I have more tests to show like correlation, chi-square, regression, but I'll wind up
It's
over
okay.
here.
What we can do, we will share this PPT recording with them, and also you can share the
Yes.
data which we will transfer to them.
Yeah. So the one thing I'll just simply wind up here in next 1 minute. This is a
Sure, sure, go
pairwise
ahead.
comparison in case of Kruskal-Wallis. Now, what I want to tell you, I'll first. Okay, just a minute, huh? I'll stop sharing my screen. Okay. Now I can switch on my camera.
Yes, please.
Okay. Yes. First of all, I'm extremely sorry. Heartfelt apologies for this network issue, and because of which good amount of time got wasted at the start of the session. But I the Jamovi software, it's very easy to learn. It's like as good, as easy as Excel. Just simply do trial and error, click on different options, and it is self-explanatory software, rather, I can say, which will give you all different hypothesis tests to be applied. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr.
Yes, sir.
Sahifa. Now we'll take some questions from the participants.
Yes.
So
Yes,
participants,
sure.
please raise your hand and ask questions one by one. And since you all are from research backgrounds, I ask you to all please be specific with your questions.
Ma'am, one thing I would like to, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am, you are
Thank
audible.
you. If we could learn this hands-on practice, it will be much easier for us to understand the things, because seeing something virtually, it's not possible to learn the softwares. So I suggest if you could have a section on hands-on.
Ma'am, if I give you one tip how you can learn data analysis, to be very honest, just install this Jamovi software on your laptop or on your desktop. Prepare a list of the tests that you want to learn and simply go to YouTube. There are number of videos available. Just see those videos, and very good and videos are available on YouTube, and this will surely help you to learn any test that you want to know.
Thank you.
And
thank you. Thank you.
yes. Any more questions? What should I understand from? Yes.
Do we have any other questions? Participants, do we have any other questions?
There is one question. When
Yes.
we are using
So be
this,
little louder.
am I audible now?
Yes, you're audible.
When we are using the software, so there are some signs which help in determining whether a particular variable is dependent or independent. So how
Just
we
a
can
minute, huh?
differentiate between
Your
two
voice
variables?
is not clear.
Now is it clear?
Yeah, I'll just try. Yes, sir. Say no.
uh, when we are using the software, so there are different kinds of signs which are visible, which help in determining whether a particular variables is dependent or the independent. Or I can say it tells about the nature of the variables. Is it nominal or it is ordinal? So how we can determine which sign is for ratio scale or which sign for the nominal scale?
Okay, I'll show you right now. I'll present my screen for a minute. I'll just switch off my video first. You can see my screen here. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So when you go to data, when you go to setup, right? Under setup, measure type. You can
Dr. Sahifa, your screen is frozen. So there is some persistent network issue on her side, I believe. So till she comes back, participants, I would like to tell you something, that apart from this software, there are various softwares which are freely available, and there are certain softwares which are paid in nature, but their student version is freely available. So you can also go for those softwares, like especially for qualitative data, there are NVivo, and there is QDA Miner. and there are some other softwares as well. Also, if you are more snug in SPSS, you can go for open source softwares which are I believe which are at par with SPSS, which is your PSPP and JSP. So these are open source softwares, freely available, and they are comparatively easier to use as compared to SPSS. However, SPSS is more comprehensive in nature. And then, of course, because these softwares are basically non-programming in language in nature. Okay, so if you are prone with the programming language, you can go for better softwares like Stata. It has both option-based and coding-based interface. So it is also, you can say, in better language, in easy language, it's also given option to go for commands, and also from choosing the options from drop down menu. Apart from that, these softwares, then there come this your of course Python, MATLAB, and SQL, which are of higher version. But as far as the current softwares which are used especially for researchers, either in qualitative or in quantitative, doesn't matter. You can go for, in fact, if you are more prone with the coding, you can go for Gretel for large data set as well. So apart from this Jamovi, there are other options which you can opt for. Okay, Dr. Sahifa is back.
Yes, thank you, Professor Ishika. Yes, you're right. There are a number of softwares available, like Jamovi and SPSS is also there. And as you said, yes, SPSS is very comprehensive. But the only reason I suggested Jamovi is that it's a free software. And to start with data analysis, it's very easy to learn. And then yes, once you are thorough with data analysis, understanding of the software, we can anytime switch to SPSS. Yes, there was a question about how do we understand whether it is nominal, ordinal from the sign. So I will not share my screen now, otherwise I'll get disconnected again. But you know, in Jamovi, when you enter the data under setup, under the measurement type, measurement scale, there is a sign given for every measurement type. Like for nominal, there is a symbol given. For ordinal, there is a symbol given. For continuous, there is a symbol given. So from that also you can make out whether it is, but that we have to select. Once we select it is a continuous, it will always give you that sign for continuous variable. Once you select, but that understanding what we should have, that it is a nominal variable or a ordinal variable or a interval or a ratio variable. Yes.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Are there
Kindly
any
unmute
other
yourself,
questions?
yes. Yes, please go ahead, Ishika.
Yeah, are there any questions?
I think participants are very silent. I don't know whether they are having any question or they understood everything today. So yeah, this may be the case. So you can
I
then
hope I
proceed.
have done justice with the topic in short time.
Yeah, it
No,
was
that's,
really
that's
great.
completely okay, Dr. Saifa. What happens, especially in software-based workshops, usually if they have basic understanding of the software, at least they should have installed it and have known with the, they are known with the user interface. That is better for the instructor to go ahead rather than going from a very ABCD kind of thing. So that creates problem not in this, in all the workshops which are software-based. So there is no issue.
Yeah, that's there. And I think so Dr. Firdaus has already shared this in the morning in a group.
Yes, we already got the link and the PPT how to download it.
Yes.
Dr. Ishika, you can now proceed to
Okay. Oh, all right. So thank you so much, Dr. Saifa, for having such a wonderful interactive session. And I would also like to thank the J&K Economic Association and Lingyas Vidyapeeth to conduct such a interactive workshop with a number of participants who are participating and getting required insights which will be helpful in their upcoming career. And thank you, the organizing team, for your patience with the technical issues. So I believe that participants have learned and a lot and also get the answers of their questions. They can also drop whatever queries they have directly to the resource person through the mail, which will be shared with them later. So thank you so much all. Now we better conclude the session, and I would like to invite Professor Firdaus to please conclude the session.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
It
ma'am.
was indeed so I am sharing first some guidelines to the participants. Today we are not going to share any feedback link. We are going to share it tomorrow, and I would like to give formal vote of thanks. We extend our heartfelt thanks to our resource person Professor Sahifa for sharing valuable insights on the discussed software Jamovi and sampling testing and hypothesis testing how to do it, and her counterpart Professor Ishika Jaiswal for guiding the session, and also the facilitators of this session, organizing team with for their valuable efforts in making this event possible. Your contributions have enriched our knowledge and made this session a success. So thank you all for your participation and engagement. So I would now request you all to open your camera. Let us have a group photo. Only open those people, those participants open the camera who are in a position to open it really for the photograph. If you are not in a position, then there is no issue. So thanks once again to all. So I request you all that you try to follow the things which we are sharing on WhatsApp chat. Most of the people they were unable to make the attendance. There are only 166. I have opened it till.
Will you provide link of WhatsApp chat?
I'm sorry, I didn't get.
Sorry, ma'am. Can you please speak again?
Can you speak a little louder? We have heard
Can you
WhatsApp
provide
chat.
link of WhatsApp group?
WhatsApp group. Yes, we can provide it. WhatsApp chat you have. That is only for registered participant.
I am already registered, but I didn't have any WhatsApp group yet.
You may have
Ma'am,
received the
ma'am, I
email.
will drop my WhatsApp number in chat box. Please text on it. I will add you into the group.
Okay, that is the better option. So follow the this WhatsApp guidelines. So tomorrow we will be having another session. So your coordination and participation is necessary. Unless you will not show your coordination and you are not going to participate well in this workshop, so then there is no use to conduct a such workshop. You should take benefit from this workshop. There were some people yesterday. I was trying to close 32 people. They were absent there, but they have registered and they were in the meeting. Then one by one, I have thrown them out of the meeting. So if you are not interested, don't think about the certificate and all. If you are not interested, don't join. But if you are really interested, be physically here and try to take advantage of this great workshop. So now we are going to close it. So you all have to leave the session. Only then this meeting will get closed. It's the same link for 10 days. So if you will not leave, it will remain like this. So you leave please, so that I can wind up the session. If you're not, then I have to put you in the waiting room. That will take time, so make my job easy. You all So once again, all the moderator, resource person, and participants, we are very thankful for your this engagement today. Thank you very much. We can now set off the